So why do I make also a lot of these videos? What's a good reason also that I make a lot of videos, guys, in case you're wondering, in case you've been listening? Because there's I would say very few people when I'm in person, when I'm preaching to people in person, because that's what just God is telling me to do. I don't know, it's just weird because like I was never like this growing up. So now it's like totally different, and I'm also an artist, and it's just kind of a bizarre combination, but this is just the way it is. So the reason I make these videos too is because I have to get like what I know out, because otherwise I'm really full of knowledge and it's gonna all bottle up. And a lot of times people won't listen to me in public because they always want something to say, or they don't want to listen at all, whatever. So that's how people are. Like, it's weird. They don't want to hear about God. They don't want to hear the truth. And especially from a guy like me who's like this tall man, but I look like a boy, really. It's like a man boy. So anyway, this is a message for kids, but really everyone. But no, I was thinking about kids because I was just getting some coffee and I witnessed this, I think, to be a dad with his adopted son, because the dad was white, he was black, the kid. And the dad just ripped into him and just like treated him like nothing, like mush, and like yelled at him about like, make sure you use napkins instead of wiping on your shirt or whatever, which is a typical parent thing. But the way he did it with his kid, or whoever this was his caregiver, he was just nasty. And I just, I was sitting right next to him, so I overheard this. And so I got some on my teeth, I don't care. So a message for kids is like, if you're a kid and you know the concept, like a kid, what do you mean? Like, I'm talking about youngsters, like kids from birth, pretty much, to, I don't know, 16, under 18, whatever. If you know, and if your parent isn't hearing my message, if you know about toys and you know about the simulation and you're in this age bracket, you're still in grade school or whatever, you can begin very early on to look at things the way they are. You can perhaps speed up the simulation. You can not take school so seriously and your teachers who don't know as much as you. You can let your parents do what they want with you, and you can observe it instead of getting emotionally attached to things, because otherwise it lowers your vibration. You can be smarter about how to perhaps escape from the annoying reality of people around you who claim to be taking care of you, which perhaps they do. They give you shelter, food, whatever, good. That's just the way God kind of made it. God's a hard God. It's not an easy path here. There's no easy path. It's about keeping your vibration high, looking at things the way they are, and knowing that everything's pretty much going to be okay. So if you know about toys and you know about the simulation, then you can like say your parent is doing something like that within your house, like what I just witnessed at that shop. You can observe that and sort of laugh to yourself about it and be like, okay. And then you might even notice that your parents might, or whoever your people trying to control you because you're young, quote unquote, you can then like maybe even start witnessing in your reality some new behavioral changes with them, because it's not working on you anymore. It's not getting you upset. And this goes for anyone. Like when a bully bullies you, right? And you give into it and get upset, they're gonna bully you more. And we praise God. And at the same time, it's all a simulation. So if you're learning about the simulation early on, then that means you learning about the simulation is part of the simulation, which is a blessing, because I didn't learn about this until now, and God had to speak it to me. I didn't learn this from someone else. So if we know about toys in the universe, we know about the simulation, you can begin to look at things the way they are and not be controlled by, for example, nasty parents who are possessed by devils. I know intuitively right away when I see someone walking, or I see someone going into before I was seeing some lady go into her house with her dog. She couldn't hardly walk. She had this dog. She was like, her house looked gloomy. I know immediately she has had some issues in her life with getting with God, and she's still not there. And I was feeling bad for the toy dog. I was like, that dog has to live in there. I don't know really what dogs sense and whatever, but I know God put them here. I know whatever. That dog is just being used by that lady for whatever, for, you know, fulfillment. So I think it's important for kids. Kids are young, they have a longer life to live than older folks, and a lot of older folks think they know more than kids. It's just something that goes on here. Makes sense. It's God's trick. He puts a lot of tricks here because he likes to play with us. Yeah, he likes to play. I've said it in another video. He actually puts, if he decides that part of the simulation is going to be, like for me, I'm sorry, like growing up, like I just experienced some annoying things that if I had known better, such as about what was really going on around me, about old toys and God and Jesus and, you know, but like there were little things presented to me about this, like about God here and there. I had friends with the church, and I had friends that their dads were ministers and stuff like that, like, but nothing truly resonated with me so much that I was really into it. What really got me into it was discovering like spirituality through the twin flame connection, which I won't get into, and then discovering like things to make yourself more peaceful within, like meditation, and just wanting to like know more about things that people here claim are more peaceful and can raise your vibration. Like stuff from the earth, stuff that's very earthly, like, you know. And then after that was when God kind of revealed himself to me. So what I'm trying to do with these YouTube videos is, if you're listening right now, I know I don't have a huge audience. I have a very small, which is probably what God is doing, because some of the stuff I talk about in these YouTube videos are just quite intense. They're very progressive, and they're not, you don't hear anything about them. None of the stuff that I talk about on this channel has come from anyone else or any outside source. It comes from within myself and from God. So if you're a listener here, like, and you keep listening, like, pay attention, because your life might like completely just take off in a really, really positive, awesome, flowing, overwhelming in a good way, like forward thinking, forward moving way. Like, seriously. So I think the videos are good. I have no one to interrupt me. A lot of times when I spread these messages, people want to interrupt, and like, then I'm not going to sit there and say, you need to shut up and then listen. You need to not talk. You know what I'm saying? Even though I know that's the truth. So no, because that's what happened. People like to talk. So the videos allow me to just kind of, and I'm sure some people just shut it off after a while, because they're just like, I can't listen to this. I can't respond right now because it's a video. But no, everything I say is 100% truthful and comes right from God himself. And as a matter of fact, today, I'm not making videos right now. I don't feel like it. I don't want to. But like, I was like down, like way further down away from my truck, and I didn't have my phone with me. I left my phone off in the truck, and and God said, you got to go push through. You got to go get your phone. So, all right. You got to relay these messages. I'm asking you to relay the messages. Why are you doing it? Okay. And I'll tell you, around here where I am in Santa Monica, people know what they're doing. A lot of people know what they're doing with race. They know what they're doing with race around here. A lot of white people know what they're doing, but a lot of white people don't. No, a lot of black people know what they're doing with race. It's weird. Like, what do I mean by this? I mean, sort of knowing who you are, knowing your role, and sort of avoiding like situations that don't need to happen. Like, women too. Like, if I'm walking by, first of all, a lot of women avoid me because I know that I'm a light. Like, it's hard to face a light. Like, and I'm good looking, I'm skinny, whatever. No, like, if I'm walking by, I see a woman coming up, or a girl, whatever, and she goes like, I'm over here, she's over here, and then she goes like this, looks the other way while I'm walking by. She just did a very godly act. She just completely avoided my energy, and now it allows the simulation to just flow in the way it was going. Whereas another situation could be, she looks at me, I look at her, then we stop and talk or whatever. I get like something like, no. I've said in previous videos that men are distractions, women are distractions, unless it's the right one for you, unless it happens naturally, organically. But if you know something's not supposed to happen, or you just want time to yourself and you're flowing by yourself, which is the most godly path, is when you are just alone, you're walking alone. That's why I've spent so much time alone over the last 6 years or so. So then you know that you are just with the flow of God. And perhaps that girl earlier didn't even know that that's what she was doing. Maybe it was unconscious, but that was a good move by her. And like I said before, the simulation's going on anyway, so whatever the simulation is calling for is happening anyway. Now, your knowledge of the simulation, growing with that and knowing it is then part of the simulation. So back to kids and back to young people, like, I even consider myself young still. The last thing I'll say is, you starting to know the simulation, you become more intelligent about it. You begin to observe the things the way they are. You begin to not attach emotions to what's happening around you, because I know from just observing and growing up myself, and whatever, parents are doing the best they can, but like, I might even make a parenting video. Like, I'm not a parent, but I could make a video, advice for parents. Absolutely, because I know God, so I know how to do it. God is with the parents. Then parents get really with God, they know how it works. Then they kind of relay this information to their kids, but not in like a forceful way, more like a stillness sort of way. Then the kids begin to learn to know God, even the house and the clothing and the shelter, whatever, the water, the things that they have to naturally provide for their young ones, that is provided by God. We know that, like, so it's not as much hard work. The hard work is only about knowing and seeking God and knowing that there's a flow and a moment here. So here we are, and that's pretty much it. This video is 12 minutes long now, but it's an important message. Like I said, mostly catered toward kids, because they got longer lives to live. So that's it. All right, cheers. See you guys.